One of our most popular analysis reports shows you your entire investment portfolio allocation, which is an easy but important illustration that depicts possible rebalancing opportunities. Here we can get a better understanding to your standard deviation, risk versus reward ratio, and expected rates of return. The summary of performance reports holds a lot of important information to give you a deeper understanding of how your portfolio is performing. To get a true picture of the appreciation of your portfolio, it is imperative to look at capital appreciation, dividend income, fees, correlation to the market, and comparison to like investments. Putting together the investment analysis and audit report, we have several third-party analytical tools at our disposal which we use for every portfolio review. These various reports are used to glean as much or as little information as you would need. The data held here presents in great detail every quantitative measurable above your overall portfolio, as well as the individual holdings in your investments. The retirement income plan shows your income generated by Social Security, pensions, real estate, and any other reliable sources, added to the amount that is needed from your investments to fill in the gap that may be present if your monthly expenses are more than your generated fixed income. We take into consideration account fees, taxes, and inflation in order to generate the compound annual growth rate necessary for your investments so they don't run out. This report is intuitive and interactive, so you can illustrate unlimited what-if scenarios. The income gap report shows the potential difference between income you generate and the income you actually need. Total income needed takes into effect taxes, inflation, and fees in order to correctly estimate the amount of income you will need to generate annually to cover your income gap. This report is continued on the next page. This is an intuitive and interactive report that can illustrate an opportunity to create an insured income stream to add to your fixed income sources. Here it will show how much or how little growth your investments is needed throughout your retirement. This determines the minimal amount of risk necessary to reach your objectives. For example, the more insured income, then the less you would have to rely on the rest of your investments to fill in the gap. When you don't have to rely on the growth of your investments, then you can lower the amount of risk in your portfolio. Less risk means lower volatility, so any market corrections will have less of an impact on the success of your retirement. Sequence of return risk analysis illustration shows a 3-bank system that is normally run in most businesses where money that is needed for short-term expenses is placed in a non-volatile account. Also placed in this account is a cushion for expenses. Even though this amount is contingent on your needs, it usually ranges anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. The middle bank is used for emergencies or long-term projects and the like. This account usually holds investments that are either illiquid or have slight deviation in order to gain a higher rate of return. You'll also want to give this account a little more time to grow, for example 2 to 5 years. The interest in this account should offset your funded liability held in the first bank. Our report shows how much the second bank needs in terms of principal and average growth rate after taxes, fees, and inflation. The third bank, and possibly the most important, is your long-term growth and foundational bank. Every successful business will have this as their foundation. You will want to have a large portion of your assets in this account. This is in long-term money with plenty of variance in order to garner upside market potential. The performance of this bank will change the decisions of day-to-day operations and your shorter-term money, which is better illustrated on the following illustration. The portfolio comparison illustration shows by simply dividing your volatility ranges within your portfolio as you are distributing income can have a strong effect on your long-term success versus keeping your portfolio in one lump sum, which is best illustrated on the next slide. We evaluate the risk versus reward in the portfolio performance data analysis comparative report to illustrate the difference between what you are currently doing and to simply approach your assets like any CFO would to a business. The two-step test portfolio is a three-part test and is a unique but effective way to show hypothetical returns to your current investment portfolio where there is no exit strategy and currently rides the market at 100% versus strategies that negate downturns in the market. Of course, in this illustration, the investment portfolio only receives 70% of the upswing. We call this strategy the unprotected versus the protected portfolio. There are a number of proven financial strategies that make this happen, so this report shows how valuable it would be to implement. Even though historically there are 3 corrections for every 10 years of market activity, we also wanted to measure quantitative data for 4 and 5 years to illustrate that you can gain a larger compound annual growth rate with a smaller standard deviation. The final part of our two-step test is a real-world experience where we take the actual performance of your current portfolio versus the performance of an S&P 500 index over a 20-year period while taking out projected distributions. This is an important illustration to show as you progress through your retirement years. Many of our clients have children entering high school and they are quickly looking at playing catch-up to paying for their kids' college. We bring a complicated world to easy-to-follow strategies and steps in order to minimize the amount of out-of-pocket money for paying for college. This is a volatility analysis review of the S&P 500 index versus a fixed indexed annuity. This is interactive as well and helps with projecting insured income as you head into retirement. Taxes are one of the biggest threats to your retirement and one of the most overlooked when putting together a financial plan. It's strange to know that people will budget so they can pay off their mortgage, cars, and other debts so they don't have payments during retirement, but they neglect the fact that they too have the opportunity to pay off their taxes. This Roth conversion report is an interactive and intuitive analysis of the best way to convert pre-tax money into tax-free money. Just think, if you need $20,000 in income during retirement, you can either take out $24,000 out of your IRA and pay the $4,000 in taxes, or you can simply take $20,000 out of your Roth and pay nothing. This part of the Roth conversion analysis shows how much are paid in taxes over the conversion period, as well as your retirement, and how it all affects your retirement nest egg. This is interactive, so you have an unlimited amount of what-if scenarios, so you can see for yourself what's the best solution. Also, to keep in mind, the more you have to pull out of your IRA, the more it will affect how everything else is taxed, especially Social Security income. Speaking of Social Security, a retirement financial plan would not be complete without Social Security optimization report. This illustrates whether it would be best to take your income now, soon, or at the latest possible point. It goes through 4 options and shows you empirical data, your income projections, and then depicts which of the 4 options are best for that given year. This too is a unique but highly effective reporting tool for the do-it-together client. The Fee Impact Analysis and Comparative report quantifies the value of financial advice you are currently using and actually puts a grade to it. This is highly interactive and intuitive and illustrates a Sharpe ratio of what you may be paying a financial advisor versus similarly weighted self-managed portfolio. This report either extrapolates or projects in a 10-year time horizon in order to show ups and downs in the market. This report is a must for someone who says, "How is my broker doing with my money?" Here are further illustrations in our comparative analysis where you will receive detailed information on each presentation and how it all affects the success of your investments. We want to thank you for taking time to review our presentation. We believe that this is a great start to building your own financial foundation, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. We're here to answer any questions you may have about our software, reports, or any other financial matters.